How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Rapid Transit Garage. Today I'm cleaning up the dart, putting the intake on. There was a whole lot of silicone in there. Sandblasted thermostat housing, found I had a hole in it. There it is. Clean through. And got my son in here. He was vacuuming out the battery tray and all that other fun stuff in the engine compartment. And Jason's got tools.
I could get the upper bulge out, either out of the knuckle or the control arm. I got the proper-ish tools for the torsion bar removal. And an extra pickle fork because I destroyed Jay's.
So he'll be actively working on the front end of the satellite. And then, whoop, picked up a sandblaster so we can get the front end components cleaned up and keep on moving. So hang around. So we're going to get these bolts cleaned up. These are the intake bolts that were in the car. These aren't the factory ones, but that's what we're going to use. Another note, I try to repurpose a lot of stuff. So this is actually an instrument stand, I believe, or a book stand for reading instrument books. But anyway, this is really handy to drag it around the shop where you want it instead of having it in a fixed position. So another thing is, when the wife throws away pans she doesn't like, they make really good parts bins. So we'll get these bolts cleaned up. Finally got it all cleaned up to put back together. I think this thing was put together with the same sealant that they use to seal nuclear reactors, because that crap would not come off. So back together she goes. Okay, in the world of things that shouldn't be done but are, because Jason didn't want to take the fender off the driver's side, he took the control arm off the driver's side, bolted it to the passenger side, propped a brake pad between the control arm and the frame rail.
Which, by the way,
ratchet strapped the upper control arm.
These little tabs fit perfect on the frame rail like they did it on purpose.
And ratchet strapped the upper control arm to, where the hell did you put it?
Under the K member over to the other strut rod.
To over there.
You
And
can call me whatever you want.
let's see if this works.
It's not crazy if it works. Of course, I'm probably going to end up across the thing, but...
Yeah. And it's working.
It's a really weird angle.
It's probably almost helping you.
No, it's not. Just have to go like upwards. I'm gonna have noodles for arms tomorrow morning. Ooh.
You got a lot of work to do, so. So on that note, it's not crazy if it works. We're going to head back over to the dart. And got the intake on. I got to make a throttle bracket here. This one has been on here for quite some time. This is from the a bracket made for the overdrive. So I want to clean that up, have 2 points of contact. Then I have to clean out one of the bolt holes for the valve cover gasket, or for the valve cover. One of the threads is messed up in the back. I've got extra long studs so I can play around with spacer length, or spacer width. And I originally thought that I was going to have some interference from the intake to the valve covers. They were actually clearance slightly with the LD340 intake. But with this, I put the valve cover on, or valve cover gasket on, dry fit it a little bit, and it appears I'm going to have some room. So with I'm going to tap that thread out, what I do, since I don't want any shavings to drop inside the head, now granted, it probably won't be necessary in this case, but I put a little grease on the tap just to kind of catch the shavings so they don't drop. So we got our grease on there. Feed that in there a little bit. And it's just the top couple threads that are a little bit munged up. Can almost turn these by hand. Almost turn it by hand. So we got it cleaned out. This is what the tap looked like. Focus, there we go. Tap looked like by the time we're done. And threads in beautiful. Yay, put the valve covers on. So the valve covers are on. I'm a little suspicious of this one here. You could see where, well, you might be able to see where it was clearanced previously. So this one, when it was bolted down, it was a little too firm. So we'll see what happens. So this is the thermostat housing, and I put some epoxy on here. I'll replace it if need be, but mainly I just wanted to see if it would work. So I put some epoxy on there. I'm going to grind that down, make it flat. Or more contoured to it, and then clean the ID here. So we'll bolt that bugger on, and I still haven't got the plugs for the heater hose and the bypass, so those still have not come yet. And of course, per the norm, I lost the fitting for the kickdown or the throttle valve for the overdrive, so I'm got to find the hardware for that. Probably run up to the parts store, and yeah, I think that almost ready to button it up. So we'll be back. Yeah, I got her all cleaned up. So epoxies have come a long way. So we'll see if it seals. Use the old Dremel with or knockoff Dremel with a roll lock on it. So we'll bolt around, see how it works. Alright, so here's where we're at. Got my thermostat housing on, got that all painted, got the fuel line run. This is the gauge I bought for the CUDA. I ended up putting it on here. This is an old dual feed that I had, I don't know, just kind of laying around. Thermostat housing came out really nice. We'll see if it seals up. On the LD340, I used to just have a bolted in there, and then I used to run my throttle return spring there. But I dug through one of many miscellaneous bracket bins, and I found this guy, which is already cleaned up nicely. And I found this guy. This one's a little low. So, but this little number fits perfect. So we'll get that painted up, pop the intake bolts off, put that one on. Another note, I have to when I replace the valve cover gaskets or pull the valve covers. One thing I don't like about this MSD is you can't get to the back clamp. So ultimately, I had to pull the distributor because I didn't have like a right angle screwdriver that I could find. I could pop this clamp off, or screw off, but I couldn't get to the back latch. So I gotta get one of those, and then I can replace that. But ultimately, I just took it out and put it back in. I've never had the plugs out of the car in the many years that I've had it. This is sad. So I'm gonna pop the plugs out, replace those, see how they look. Kind of get a read on, not that it's gonna matter because it's gonna be all changed anyway. But yeah, a lot of little nickel and dimey stuff. Like I said, I gotta find, this is a little insert for the throttle that for the overdrive So that goes right in there. It's kind of like a T shape that slides in there and locks in. So I got to get one of those. And then I got to lengthen the heater hose, bring it over here, and put the temp sensor in. I'm also, in addition, I'm probably going to run a mechanical temperature gauge. So, but get my bracket painted up, and hopefully the next one we will fire it up. So that'll conclude this one. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And oh yeah, forgot to show you the sandblaster. Picked up a little Harbor Freight sandblaster that throws sand all over the floor. We got to put a dust recovery on it to pull some of the dust that's out of there, because otherwise it's blowing all over the shop. But it's working well. Takes a lot of air, I can tell you that. But it's working out well. Cleaning out some of the parts, adding parts to the shop. I might be putting in a lathe too. We'll see how that works. So anyway, have a good day. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.